Hi everyone, in this video lesson we're going to review slope as you saw it in Algebra 1 and Geometry. Okay, so slope is equal to rise over run, which is you've seen as m, that's the slope, which is also the rate of change, which means we use this formula for the slope formula. This is slope formula, which means you take the y value, y2 value, and subtract the y1 value from it over the x2 value minus the x1 value. And what this means is there is a change in y over a change in x, and this you'll see, we'll use this more often than these in this course for Algebra 2, where delta, that letter there, is the Greek letter delta. Okay, so if you haven't seen it or if you don't remember it, that's the Greek letter delta, the capital Greek letter. So to that end, I'm given a point here. I'm given 2 points. Since I'm given 2 points, what I'm going to do is I'm going to label them as x1, y1, x2, y2. So the first point, x1 and y1, and this is x2 and y2. Don't forget, the first value is always the x coordinate. The second value is the y coordinate, okay? So then following this formula, I'm going to find the slope. So I'm going to use m here, which is this m. And the rate of change is the y2 value, which is 1, minus the y1 value, which is 0, over the x2 value, which is a negative 3, minus the x1 value. The x value is a negative 2, so minus 2. Now, don't forget, in the denominator, we have a negative in front of a negative, so that means this becomes plus. Okay, so then 1 minus 0 is 1. And negative 3 plus 2, that's a negative 1. And 1 divided by negative 1 is negative 1. And this is the slope of that line. Okay, so I'm going to do number 4. Okay, now we'll do 2 and 3 in the classroom. So from here, you can choose any 2 points. You can choose the last 2 points or the first 2 points. It makes no difference. But as long as you're consistent, you'll be fine. Okay. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to label, even though this could be my x1 and this my x2 value, or this could be my x1 and my x2, it makes no difference, but as long as you're consistent. So I'm going to say this is my x1 value and this is my x2 value. Okay, notice this corresponds with the x coordinates. Okay, so now let's do the y coordinates. So the y1 value has to be this one here because this value of x corresponds to this value of y. So this is y1. And then this will be y2 because these two go together. So then to find the slope, which is delta y over delta x, I'm going to do that in a moment. So the formula says take the y2 value, so I'm going to follow that formula. So then this is equal to, let's see, so m equals y2 is negative 5 minus y1. y1 is a negative 2 over x2, that's a 4, minus x1, that's a 0. Right? So then again, don't forget we have a negative in front of a negative, that makes it positive. So then negative 5 plus 2, that's a negative 3. And 4 minus 0, that's 0. So the slope of this line that passes through these 3 points is negative 3/4. All right. So for this next section, we are going to describe what the slope represents in each graph below. Remember to use complete sentences. Okay, so we're going to start with the y. Okay, so this will be the y, and this will be the x. Okay, so start with the y, describe the graph. So we're looking at this graph, and end with the x increasing. So notice x increases as it goes to the right. Okay, so the x values increase as this goes to the right of the origin, and the y values increase also as in this case as we go up. On the y value. So as the y values increase, we have to look at the graph, what the graph is saying. So if we look at the y values by looking at the graph, we can say that the y values, okay, so this line or this graph shows, okay, this graph shows the number of what? This represents cricket chirps, okay, so we start with y, so the number of cricket. Let me spell that correctly. Okay, so the number of cricket chirps, what's happening to the number of cricket chirps as the temperature increases? Okay, so the number of cricket chirps, we see that as the temperature increases, as this goes to the right, okay, chirps, the cricket chirps increase. We see them increasing as the temperature, okay, as the temperature increases. And I hope that makes sense. So start by looking at the why, what's happening here, what's happening to the cricket chirps as the temperature increases. So as we can see, the chirps increase as the temperature increases. So there's number 5. Let's jump to number 7. Okay, so let's look at this one here. So for this one, on number 5, we saw that this is increasing, but on number 7, this is decreasing, right? So the why, the pages left to read decrease as the time spent reading increases. So then we would say something like this. We would say that this shows, okay, this shows the number of pages left to read. What's happening here, right? The number of pages left to read decrease. Okay, they decrease or decreases as the minutes, let's say as the minutes okay, as the minutes spent reading, and this should make sense in the real world, increase. So the more time you spent reading, the less pages you'll have, or the fewer pages you have left to read in any article or book or whatever you might be reading. Okay, so let's see, and now we'll do these 2 examples in class. So quick review: parallel lines have the same slope, and perpendicular lines, we'll leave that one open for now. Okay, so now this part, number 9, given the function y equals 2/3 x minus 1, what is the slope of all lines parallel? Okay, so since lines that are parallel have the same slope, then that means that all lines that are parallel, and I'm going to use this symbol here, that means parallel slope is equal to, they must have the same slope, so it should be 2/3. And we'll do the perpendicular ones in class. Okay, I'll see you in class. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.